At the federal, state, and local level, we have to have a change in course, and we need leadership that will let this happen. So, this is a little controversial, and I will either get a standing ovation, and I don't care about the ovation, I care about the country, or people are going to walk out of the room for what I am about to say, but it's time finally to say it. I did a really good job with drugs on our border. Perhaps nobody is more aware of the drug problem in our country than I am. I worked very hard on it for 4 years plus. We worked long hours, and during my years in the White House, we had great success, especially when you compare it to what is happening now, where drugs are pouring into our country at levels never seen before. We got drug use down 18% in the White House, with an effort headed up by our great First Lady. She worked very hard on that. But that still meant hundreds of thousands of people were dying from the drug problem. Each drug dealer, on average, is responsible for the death or the destruction of 500 lives, each drug dealer. At least 200,000 people a year are dying from these drugs. That's an invasion. It's an invasion. Same as bullets, same as bombs, especially fentanyl, a disaster that I greatly slowed down through dealing with President Xi of China. Had long conversations. I said, you got to stop it. And he did. But now it's coming in at levels that we haven't seen before, fentanyl. I've studied all aspects. We've had blue ribbon committees headed up by dilettantes, society people, and others that are far more interested in seeing their name in the newspapers than in stopping the massive inflow of drugs. More importantly, even if they wanted to, they wouldn't be able to do it. They wouldn't have a chance. They don't have what's necessary to win against the evil and unfortunately brilliant minds of those that head the cartels and other forms of drug distribution. If you look at countries all throughout the world, no matter where you go, the only ones that don't have a drug problem are those that institute the death penalty for drug dealers. They're the only ones. They don't have any problem. They don't have a drug problem. You understand that, Tom. I never even discussed this with you, but you understand it better than anybody. China has no drug problem. No, China has no drug problem because they have what's called quick trial. Quick trial, where a dealer, when caught, goes to trial quickly, and if guilty, is immediately executed. Singapore, likewise, despite the wealth and all of the other aspects that would normally lead to massive use of drugs, has no drug problem because dealers are given, after a fast trial, the death penalty. Many years ago, China became a drug-ridden country. It was weak, lethargic, and large sections were easily taken over by other countries and the enemy. They had massive problems with opium, as you probably know from reading your history books, and other drugs were devastating them as a country. This went on for many, many decades until their leaders decided it must stop, and it must stop now. It was brutal, but it ended, and it ended very quickly. When I was with President Xi of China, I innocently and perhaps naively asked, do you have much of a drug problem in China? And he looked at me and said, no. Why would you ask? He didn't say this, but I'm saying what he was thinking. Why would you ask such a dumb question as that? No, we don't have a drug problem. Why would we have a drug problem? There is no problem. Drug dealers get the death penalty. The trial goes very quickly. So instead of coming into China, they go someplace else. We've had big drug problems over the centuries, but we don't have a drug problem at all now. They don't deal in China. These drug dealers, they just don't deal in China. The consequences are far too great. It's called death. The drug problem in China, however, is our problem because they make drugs there, but they won't sell them there because they're afraid to do so. So they sell them through our southern border and other places into the United States. And we had a very strong understanding when I was president with President Xi, and he was largely living up to that understanding. It was really slowing down, but now it's out of control. Because Trump isn't there, it's out of control. So we can continue to have our blue ribbon committees made up of some of the people in this room, for very nice people. They're wonderful people, but sadly, they don't have a clue. Or we can be strong and do what ultimately has to be done. I listened as one country was being excoriated for having horribly executed a relatively small number of people. But the person representing this country said, by doing this, we have saved tens of thousands of people and lives and families. We have no drug problem whatsoever in our country. You must also have the death penalty for those who kill police officers as well as those who kill through human trafficking. The women and children in particular are destroyed by traffickers, making more money than some of the biggest people in business. They are making money that a lot of people, even very successful people, have never seen before. If it were money alone, they should be on the cover of the business magazines, not the nice Ivy League graduates of the wonderful Wharton School of Finance or the Harvard Business School. So we can be streetwise, tough and smart, and end our problem, or we can be politically correct, weak, and frankly, extremely stupid, which is probably the way we will continue to be, and lose millions and millions more people to a scourge the likes of which our country and most other countries have never seen before. So do something about it.